Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.
Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon, and welcome to the EAC Show, coming to you from sunny South Florida. We got Marcus Mack and the big one, UCF activist, overall sports enthusiast, Cameron Dinnan on this show. What's going on, guys?
Not much, man. Back at it once again, episode 25.
Episode 25, episode 24 was great. Marcus Mack, it's good to see you. Cam, it's good to see you. To Marcus Mack, what you been up to, man?
Like I said, man, keeping it sanitary, man. I've been in the house.
Yeah, he's got a hand sanitizer. He's got a hand sanitizer bathtub he uses.
Yeah.
You still using the homemade stuff?
That's a fact. It's actually
Cam, what about you, Cam? What's going on?
I'm good, man. Everything's good over here.
the Lysol, yeah.
You got the Lysol wipes.
Okay, those are always come in handy. I'm good, man. I gave myself a cut.
Oh!
Sorry to hear that, bro.
You looking military-ish over there, buddy.
My own little fade I gave myself, a little boozy fade.
Oh, boy.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't even think that's possible. Can white people get boozy fades?
Yes,
I mean, when you've been going to a certain barber for over 12 years in South Florida, you kind of just get that in there.
Oh, man,
Not
it's crazy.
skin.
I actually, sorry I'm on this kind of late today. I actually ended up playing football with the kids and the wife in front of the house. It was nutty, man. It was crazy. So Inasia and EJ ended up playing. My wife and myself, obviously, I end up, being like all do it. I let my wife play quarterback and stuff. And EJ threw a beautiful pass to Inasia, touchdown. Some random lady came by. Oh, that was a great catch. Tell to my daughter. And then all of a sudden I had to turn up on him and turn into Deion Sanders and just shut him down. They ain't scored another point after that. It was over.
You went primetime on him?
I went primetime on him. I was stunting. Inasia threw 2 picks. EJ dropped a pass or something like that. Like, I just went all over and it was a wrap. It was over. It was over.
You gotta still assert the dominance even in the home sports, man. You gotta teach them the competitive edge. That's it.
Yeah, I posted something on Instagram, you guys, that you're basically just trying to teach my daughter, Inasia, let her understand no matter what, through what circumstances we're going through, we can put in work. So yep. I had her doing squats with a ladder. I had her doing push-ups out on the concrete. Like, it don't matter. We can still get it done no matter what.
No excuses, man. That's it.
Absolutely. So I know, last episode, we got a couple more teams left. We don't got that many teams left. I know we're going to do the over-under regular season, the remaining teams that we have left. We're going to tackle 6 today. And then after that, we're going to get into the EAC headlines. We got some really, really good headlines to go through on this show. I know there's a touchy subject for you. There's a couple subjects that entice me, Cameron. And then at the end of the show, we're actually going to get into something that Marcus Mack saw today. Him and I were talking a little bit about back and forth. And Marcus Mack is going to tell us his feelings about that subject as well.
Yeah, so we've been doing these teams for a while now, going through the over-under. This will be the from 20 to 26, if I'm not mistaken. So next episode on Friday's show will wrap up from 26 to 32, and that'll be all the teams we've gotten through.
Absolutely agreed. So we're going to start off with the Cincinnati Bengals, who have the number 1 overall pick, and it's most likely they're going to select Joe Burrow out of LSU. Their over-under on regular season wins is 5.5. Cameron, tell me what you think about that.
5.5. I don't want to say that I'm surprised that it's that low. Obviously, we know what they went through last year. It's still up in the air whether they're going to pick Burrow or not. We keep hearing things out of Burrow's camp about him potentially, using the power to try to get to a different team. So we do know that there are going to be some trades happening. So it's kind of hard. You don't want to make this pick over under 4.5 games, depending on whether or not they get Joe Burrow, but you kind of have to do it. Just to be safe, I'm going to say under. I think even with Joe Burrow there, I don't think that it's going to be just a light switch that they turn on and all of a sudden they're good now. They're still in a tough division. They still have the Steelers who put up a fight. The Ravens are a monster there. And the Browns should have a better year than they had last year. So I don't think they get 5 wins.
I'm going to go the opposite with you on this, Cam. I'm going to say over. And the only reason I'm going to say over is as long as A.J. Green stays healthy. If A.J. Green stays healthy, he's going to be able to help this rookie quarterback out. This rookie quarterback is probably one of the most pro-ready quarterbacks in a very, very long time. And that's not going to last too long because Mr. Lawrence is coming out. Trevor Lawrence is coming out next year.
That's
so
right.
in my opinion, I really do think that Joe Burrow does make a big difference in Cincinnati. I think he can definitely catapult them to get a certain amount of wins. I think he probably wins at least by himself. He probably can win 3 or 4 games. So then you got to count in A.J. Green's dominance as a wide receiver. He's still one of the top wide receivers in the league when he's healthy. So I think he can still get it done. On the defensive side of the ball, that's questionable with the Cincinnati Bengals, but I think they can win over 5.5 games in the NFL.
All right. Respect.
Barring health.
Right. We're indifferent on that then. Okay.
Okay, so then the next pick that we got the Indianapolis Colts, who are led by Phillip Rivers. And you know what? It's perfect because it lands on a perfect number to represent Phillip Rivers. It lands on 9.
Oh. 9.
And that's the same exact amount of kids that he has.
Oh, yeah.
9.
I thought you were going to say because he always ends up going either 8 and 8 or 9 or 7 or 7 9. But yeah, he's got 9 kids. He's got a whole team of children over there.
He has a baseball field. He has a baseball lineup.
It's absurd. Hopefully he has twins. He could get himself a full NFL lineup out there. But yeah, I don't know. You said it was at 9 flat.
9 flat.
Here's the thing. I like the Colts formula. I like what they're doing. I like that they run the ball a lot. They're trying to get back to old school football. Hopefully Phillip Rivers will help them in their deep ball situation. They have a couple guys to throw the ball to. They don't have really too many people that are sexy. Obviously, they have T.Y. Hilton. I don't even know who else is there besides like Dante Moncrief. I don't even think he's there anymore. So to be honest with you, it just seems like it's Eric Ebron, who I think is back there again, right? He's out also. Oh my God! So I mean, it's T.Y. Hilton and some running backs. I don't know. I'm going under. I sound bad right now because I don't know too much about the Indianapolis Colts personnel. But if you're just telling me simply that I know they don't have Moncrief, I know they don't have some of their other guys out wide, and if they don't have Eric Ebron, who was their best piece in the passing game last year, then I got to take the under on 9.
Well, I'm going to go under as well, but I'm going to sit there and say that their defense is exceptional. Their defense, the Indianapolis Colts defense, is a really, really good defense. The only reason why I'm going to go under in this situation is because I think that the Houston Texans are going to win that division even without having DeAndre Hopkins. I think that not having DeAndre Hopkins is going to allow other people to showcase their skills and their talent because the ball is always constantly going to DeAndre. And I think Deshaun Watson is going to show and prove how the people are going to really appreciate Deshaun Watson on how good he really is because he makes so much other people look so much better. So in my opinion, I'm going to say under, but I'm only going to say under because I think Deshaun Watson is going to shine brightly in that division this year as long as health again is the problem. If Deshaun Watson can stay healthy, the Indianapolis Colts won't hit 9 wins. If Deshaun Watson is hurt, the Indianapolis Colts will go over. My pick is under on this one.
That's fair. Yeah, and it seems like that division, it's so muddy that every team is going to go 1-1 against the other teams in their division. Everyone might split, yeah.
So then we're going to go up to your division, up into the NFC North, and we're going to go with the Detroit Lions, Matt Patricia and the boys. What do you end up thinking? Oh, huh?
Let me guess this one. This one is at 6.5 or 7.
6.5.
Okay. That's perfect. That's exactly where they should be. 3rd year of Matt Patricia's tenure as the head coach. They still bringing back Matt Stafford, still a great quarterback. What's up?
For the record, I'm a huge fan of Matt Patricia, by the way. Huge fan.
I don't have anything against him. I like his attitude. I like obviously where he came from. I like what he has to bring to the table. I like defensive head coaches. I appreciate that. Now the thing is that a lot of people are sort of calling for Patricia's head. They don't think that he has the locker room essentially. So we'll have to see how the team responds from an emotional standpoint this year after being dug down for a while now. Matt Stafford was hurt for a better half of last year. So, we'll see what comes this year. I don't have too high expectations for them, but as we said on last show, I do think that they could potentially be the second team, either them or the Vikings behind the Packers. So I'll take the over on 6.5.
I'm going to take the over as well. I agree with you on that. I don't think the Vikings get it done this year because they lose Stephon Diggs. I think this is the year that Matt Patricia breaks through. He starts winning some people over. Yes, it took him a little bit longer to implement what he wanted, implement into Detroit.
Culture.
But I think he ends up I think he ends up getting the job done. Like I said, I am a fan of Matt Patricia. I want to see him succeed. He is a great defensive coach. He just needs to get the other side of the ball ready. Matt Stafford, I sound like a broken record, but as long as these quarterbacks can stay healthy, they're going to give their teams a chance to win and make other players better. So I think as long as Matt Stafford can stay healthy, Patricia gets the job done. They win more than 6.5 games, and they're fighting for that second position in the NFC North. So we're going to stay in the NFC, but we're going to go out west, and we're going to go to the Los Angeles Rams, and their over-under is 9. Cam, tell me what you think about that one.
To be honest with you, man, let me tell you something. They've had quite a dive. They haven't sunk down too far here, but we saw 2 years ago, how much success they've had going to the Super Bowl. Then last year they essentially crumbled just based off of the expectations of what they were supposed to do, right?
Do you think McVay is sizzling out? Just asking something complete.
I think he's not as appealing as that summer. As last offseason when everyone who knew McVay, if you had a high school class for them, whatever, everyone was getting hired if they were associated with Sean McVay. I do think some of that shine is obviously away from him because of the stink that is coming off of last year's performance as a team. However, I still think they have a good foundation. Obviously, they're losing Brandon Cooks. I don't like them on the defensive side of the ball. I think they have a lot of names, but they're a lot of old names. They lost Ndamukong Suh. So I don't have high expectations for them. I think they win 8 or 9 games. But you said it was 9 flat?
9 flat.
Give me the over. I say they win 9. Maybe they get 10 to help me out, but I don't feel good about it.
I'm going to go under. The reason why I'm going to go under is because the Patriots have done this to teams and changed organizations completely. The Atlanta Falcons had a lead in the Super Bowl. Patriots come back. The Atlanta Falcons haven't been the same since. The Patriots not really destroyed them, but don't allow Sean McVay and his high-powered offense for the LA Rams to do anything in the Super Bowl, and they only had 3 points, and they literally haven't been the same team since. They end up losing Todd Gurley. They lose all these pieces on the defensive side of the ball. In my opinion, that division has the 2 best teams, other than the Packers. In my eyes, those 3 teams right there are the 3 best teams in the league in the NFC. So I don't think
the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Rams.
So right. I don't think that the Rams are going to get the 9 because you have San Francisco and Seattle, who in my opinion are better teams in that division. So I don't think they get the 9. I think Jared Goff, literally you paid this guy all his bread and he's not going to show up. He's going to throw the occasional pick. His running game is mediocre. Sean McVay's whole offensive system is down the toilet. They end up sizzling out. He might end up fired at the end of the season, in all actuality, going from Super Bowl 2 years ago to not having a job. So I'm going to say under. We're going to go to the NFC East now, Cam.
Okay.
And we're going to discuss the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes, it took us a while to get to the Eagles. They're always an intriguing team. I'm gonna guess 9 flat.
It's 9.5.
Okay. Go ahead first on this one.
So the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion, Cam, they're still a really good team. They have issues at cornerbacks, which they're probably going to address in the draft if they haven't so already in the offseason with a couple pickups here and there. Carson Wentz is just – you never know what you're going to get with him if he stays healthy or not. Zach Ertz is a straight animal. He's a beast. Their running back situation, I'm pretty sure they're going to end up figuring out something in the draft as well. But their coach, Coach Peterson, is an excellent coach. So without the Redskins and without the Giants really solidifying anything in that division, it's only them and the Cowboys. And in my opinion, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are a better team than the Dallas Cowboys because the Dallas Cowboys have too much inconsistency, and it's not from Dak Prescott. It's from everybody else on the team. So in my opinion, I'm going to sit there and say that the Philadelphia Eagles go over on this over-under of 9.5.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say over as well, all because they have a couple things here. They have a tremendous defense that I love. They're a great team, and they have an incredible home field advantage in Lincoln Financial Field. So I think that is enough, plus the fact that, I think the Giants are going to surprise you this year, but I don't think that them and the Redskins are going to do enough to prevent the Eagles from winning 10 games and going over the 9.5. So I love me some Doug Peterson. I think he's a great coach. He was a backup for Brett Favre for a long time in Green Bay, so he's got some ties there. But at the end of the day, I do think that they have some skill position guys. I don't like Nelson Aguilar. I like their running back, Miles Turner, the rookie from last year. I think they'll build off of that, maybe get one more back. Alshon Jeffrey, if he could stay healthy, that's the biggest thing. I know that's like the theme of the day as we're talking about these teams. If Carson Wentz and Alshon Jeffrey can stay healthy, plus the Zach Ertz and the defense, I think it gets them 10 wins.
I mean, the year that they won the Super Bowl, everything was going great. It was crazy. The aura, the environment, the music. They had Meek Mills playing in the field. They were going nuts. That city was on. The volume was on like 100. You know what I'm saying? If they can get back to that, they're going to be good. They're going to be NFC East champions, in my opinion. And that leads into our next and our last team in the same NFC East, which is the New York Football Giants. Now, I want to see the New York Football Giants succeed just because of Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is an amazing player. He can literally win himself. He can win you 5 games just pretty much by himself. That under 6.5. Cam, tell me what you think.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley, like you said, it seems like he's the kind of guy where it doesn't matter what jersey he's in for his entire career. You're going to see him with at least one Super Bowl ring as he retires. I mean, you can't. He's too athletic and too much of a physical specimen. Yeah, I mean, he has to win a ring. Someone's got to help him out. And that's why I have very high optimism on the New York Giants. I liked what Daniel Jones, the quarterback out of Duke, showed us in limited fashion last year before he got benched, just like Gardner Minshew for the old timer towards the end of the year. But I think they come into the year strong. I don't know if they win, obviously, the over 6.5 games. I'm going to pump my brakes on that. I say they win 6 games. I'll take the under.
I'm going to say over as long as Saquon stays healthy. I think that the other teams in that division aren't as good. They're going to win the 2 games against the Redskins. They're going to go 1-1 against the Dallas Cowboys because they always do. The question is whether they can get that 1-1 split with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's going to be the key for them to be able to get over that hump and win the over 6.5 games. So I'm going to sit there and say over, barring that everybody stays healthy. I mean, like you said, it sounds like a broken record. We're repeating the same thing about health. But in my opinion, I think the New York Football Giants get 7 wins, in my opinion. Let me get to this promo real quick. This part of the show is brought to you by ElCubanoSandwichShop.com. Use the promo code EAC and receive discounts on online pickups or delivery orders. Enjoy a cafe con leche or a natural pre-workout shot of that Cuban coffee to start your day. The daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC. That's ElCubanoSandwichShop.com or 954-906-5110. Remember, use the promo code EAC, and that's El Cubano Sandwich Shop in Coral Springs. So now, guys, we're going to get into our EAC headlines, and I'm going to go over our EAC headlines of the day. The first 2 headlines are going to be football-related. The third one, is going to be college football, and the last 2 are going to be basketball-related. So the first 2 we're going to talk about is we're going to tackle Matt Rhule saying that Cam Newton was a quarterback that didn't fit his system, and then we're going to talk about Mr. Tom Terrific after that. So, Cam, Matt Rhule saying that Cam Newton was released more about Teddy Bridgewater. Basically, they wanted to focus more on Teddy Bridgewater himself. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's funny, Emilio. I mean, because I like Matt Rhule. I think he's going to be a great head coach. But over the last few years, with these new young head coaches that are coming in the league, you're starting to see their true colors. You really can't take anything they say seriously right off of the bat. We saw Matt Rhule right when he got hired come out when asked about Cam Newton, and he said he's a franchise quarterback. We love having him here. Blah 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 blah. And now this comes out and he says he's not right for my system. You had Cliff Kingsbury out of Texas Tech saying just a year while he was at Texas Tech before he got the Arizona job, saying how much he loves Josh Rosen and how much he thinks he's a great quarterback. And then when he was asked about Kyler Murray, He said, "Oh, if I had Kyler Murray with the first overall pick in the draft, I would definitely take him." He said that as a college coach. He gets the job the next year. He drafts Kyler Murray the first pick, and by goes Josh Rosen. So you're starting to see these coaches, not really owning up to what they're saying originally. So I feel bad for Cam Newton in a way, but that's business.
Listen, if Cam Newton is 100% healthy, this is not even a discussion. Cam Newton would be the quarterback in Carolina, and Matt Rhule knows that. The fact that Cam Newton is kind of like he might be hurt, he might not be hurt, they don't want to deal with that problem. And with Matt Rhule getting a 7-year, $60 million deal, he can do whatever he wants. He's the head honcho there. You can fire him tomorrow. He's still going to get his money.
Right. He's in a perfect position too, because if he starts Cam Newton, he might hear some of the same situation. He might be the guy on the hook in order to get rid of a guy like Cam Newton. Why not do it now when the expectations are low? You know what I mean? And even in his first year, if he has Teddy Bridgewater or PJ Walker starting, he could still, if the team doesn't do as well, he has something to fall back on. He could say, well, Teddy Bridgewater, it's his first year as a starting quarterback, first year in the system. PJ Walker's first year in the NFL. So he could fall back on it right away.
He's literally cleaning house. He got rid of Kuechly retired. He got rid of Greg Olsen. He's getting rid of he got rid of Cam Newton. He's literally bringing in his staff. He's going to go down with the ship his way. It is what it is. Matt Rhule's going to get the Carolina Panthers going. It might take him a year or two, but he's going to get it going his way. I don't have a problem with what he did and how he did it. I have a problem how Cam's situation was handled of him leaving a place that he gave so much of. Because in all actuality, Cam Newton healthy, you're not picking Teddy Bridgewater over Cam Newton.
No, 100% correct. It kind of gives you the Isaiah Thomas Boston Celtics feel to it a little bit. Maybe not to the all the way extent, but you do expect the Panthers to give him more. But going off of Matt Rhule, what you said, as far as a guy cleaning house is concerned, he's the guy to do it. Remember, he's the one that went from Temple to Baylor. He's the one that took over Baylor right after the whole Art Briles fiasco that happened there, and the reason why Art Briles went down. So he went into Baylor and he cleaned house there. So believe me, he knows how to do that.
Absolutely. Now we're gonna get into this Tom Brady talk, because Tom Brady had an interview today on Howard Stern, and it was a very, very candid interview, because it was an interview that Tom Brady doesn't necessarily do. They asked him a lot of personal things. He got into answering questions about teammates' race and how does he see his teammates. He let the audience know that him and Giselle went to marriage counseling. They seek counseling. He told them about his, what he felt about his legacy, how he felt about Bill Belichick, what was important to him, why hasn't he stopped. Cam, what is your opinion on some of the things that Tom Brady talked about on Howard Stern today?
Just blankly without hearing the interview itself. I mean, he's always been a pretty candid guy. He doesn't have a lot to hide. His marriage has been out there in the tabloids for as long as it's been, active. So he has no issue with being in the spotlight. And to go on a show like the Howard Stern Show sort of just gives him the platform to open up about some things that maybe he had suppressed while he was in New England. So it's an interview that I'll have to give a listen, but I'm sure Howard got a lot out of it.
Absolutely. I mean, Howard did a great job, and shout out to Howard Stern. And Tom Brady spoke about a multitude of things. And one of the things he spoke about was his relationship with Giselle. Giselle wrote this letter to him basically saying he wasn't pulling his weight around the house and he needed to do more. Listen, for some people that are listening out there seeing this, a marriage is never a 50-50 thing. Sometimes it's 70-30, sometimes it's 60-40, sometimes it's 80-20, sometimes it's 90-10. That's just the way it goes. There's ups and downs in it. But the whole point of the idea of marriage, that's why the ring is a circle, is that you stay together. You know what I'm saying? Do good,
Right.
bad, worse, indifferent, whatever. So shout out to him for working it out and getting it done. He also talked about Bill Belichick. His relationship with Bill, he really didn't have no problems with Bill. They asked him questions on whether he can win without him or whether Bill can win without him, vice versa. He's like, listen, all of that is nonsense. Like, who cares?
Yeah, he doesn't want to hear that.
He doesn't want to hear that. They asked him about his legacy. He don't give a damn about his legacy. They asked him when he stopped. He compared it to asking a singer or a painter. Would you tell Picasso to stop painting? No. So why are you going to tell me to stop playing football? Would you tell, Billy Joel to stop singing at 42 years old? No. So why are you going to tell me to stop singing? And I totally understand that, and I get it. And shout out to him. Don't let anybody tell you when you need to go out or what you need to do. If you feel like you can still get the job done and there's a market for you out there, by all means,
Right.
go get yours.
Listen, there's no perfect time to retire. Look at Barry Sanders. Look at Calvin Johnson. People retire early. People retire late. He's obviously still giving his everything to the sport. He still thinks he can play at a certain level. And if that's the case, then so be it. So find a new team, ball out, do what you can for the last couple of years of your career. Just because a team is done with you doesn't mean that you're done with the sport. So big shout out to him. Keep playing as long as you can until the wheels fall off.
Yep, absolutely. Now we're gonna get to our third headline, and Cam, this is your bread and butter right here. This is whenever we speak about college football, we always have a "Tell them why you mad, Cameron" segment on college football Market Smack, because Cameron is so adamant, emotional, passionate, whatever word you want to use that involves feelings. And when it comes to college football, Cam goes above and beyond.
Did you notice he turned his head back?
Oh yeah, he's ready right now. It's like that guy who has the bases loaded in a softball game and he needs to hit a grand slam to win the game.
I'm pointing my shot.
So they did a poll, and 88% of FBS ADs favor expanding college football playoff.
Right. So past the current 4-team layout right now. I mean, I've talked about this plenty of times. I mean, this was only going to happen. I mean, you have those 88 schools, or the 88%. So I believe it was 112 out of 130 ADs voted for the expansion. So I would love to see a list of the 18 teams that voted to keep the 4 teams. You already know it's the Blue Bloods, it's the Alabamas, your Ohio States, everyone that gets immediate consideration to get into the playoff before the year even starts, just depending on preseason rankings. So this was going to happen. We all know that everyone wants to expand to 8 teams. It would give them a perfect layout for everyone to sort of get an equal opportunity at this thing. If you had 8 seeds, right? I'll break it down like this. The Power 5 conference champion of each Power 5 conference will get a slot. So those are 5 seeds right there. Those are your top 5 seeds. Then you have the highest rated group of 5 teams. So whether that's UCF or Boise State or Houston or Memphis or Cincinnati, whatever on a given year, the highest rated G5 team gets a slot. And then the other 2 seeds are for at-large teams. So let's say Michigan doesn't win the Big Ten, but they're good enough to be in the top 8 teams. Same with Georgia. If Alabama wins the SEC, but Georgia's good enough to – that people want to see opportunity be spread around on a conference and on an FBS size scale. They don't want to see 4 teams, 3 of them being in the SEC. They don't want to – everything that's about this 4-team layoff right now, they thought it would be the perfect solution coming from the BCS era, but there's holes in the system. There's errors that need to be corrected, and that's why I like to see that the ADs are coming out and voting on something like this. Hopefully by the end of the contract, which goes up in 2026, I believe, we can get a new playoff that will be better for the fans.
Now, Cam, I'm going to be quite honest with you. I literally thought that you were just going to go ham on this subject. I felt like I just got lectured. Like, I felt like you were my father and you were just talking to me about how come I didn't put away the dishes? How come I didn't throw away the garbage? How come I didn't?
The thing is that I don't know how much time we have left on this Zoom meeting. I could probably do this for another 20 minutes and talk to you guys why, but I'm being considerate. I'm just giving you the meat and potatoes, the skeleton of the argument, if you will.
Cam, I understand.
15 minutes, Cam, go for it.
I understand you totally want UCF to figure out a way to get in there or whatever it may be, you big-ass homer. But listen, let me explain something to you. This is all about money.
I know it is. It needs to be better for college football.
112 ADs voted for college expansion because they want a college playoff expansion because they want an opportunity to get in to get more money. That's all this is about. They don't care if the majority of the teams come from the SEC and it's Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and then you got Clemson, who's the one from the ACC. They don't care about that. They just want to get their little piece of the pie. That's all this vote is. It's nothing else.
And why do you think the teams, the 18 ADs that voted no to the expansion, why do you think they're voting no? Because it's all about money also.
Because they don't give a sugar honey iced tea. They're good enough to get there all the time. They don't give a damn.
Right. It comes down to opportunity. You got to start leveling the playing field a small amount here. You know, a team in the FBS, they should, whether it's UCF or not, who cares? If it's Akron, I don't care. Whether it's Central Michigan, doesn't matter. If a team in the FBS goes undefeated in the regular season, you can't look at it and say, okay, they're not good enough. You have to,
such a homer. Such a homer.
Listen, I'm not speaking on behalf of UCF. I'm speaking on behalf of Western Michigan from 2016 with PJ Fleck. I'm speaking on behalf of Boise State. I'm speaking on behalf of Fresno State. I'm speaking on behalf of Wyoming and North Dakota State. I'm speaking on behalf of all the schools that whenever they play a big opponent at the end of the year, they seem to hold their weight. But they're not good enough, apparently, to the selection committee.
See, this is how I thought you were going to start the subject. You know what I'm saying? Like, I needed to say what I needed to say to get this out of you.
I know, but I need dialogue. I can't just go on a tangent because then it just seems like I'm complaining. If you talk with me, it'll seem like I'm informing.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a rocket up your you-know-what, so then you can go all the way up. We need the volumes all the way up.
Listen, we only have till September before college football starts. You're going to get a lot more out of me.
Listen, Cam, I totally understand, and I'm with you. I root for the underdog, you know what I'm saying? Like UCF and, Western Michigan, if those guys could go undefeated, I 100% agree that they deserve a chance. Are they going to be able to hang in there and play with the big boys? I don't know. That's a totally different subject, but they 100% deserve a chance. But these ADs –
My last piece, not to jump you there, I'm not saying that everyone deserves a chance to win a national championship. I'm saying if you're in the FBS and you go undefeated in the regular season, you deserve a chance to play for a national championship. Otherwise,
you deserve a chance to get smacked on national TV. I got you. I get you.
So be it. Any given Sunday, why go undefeated if it doesn't mean shit at the end of the year? Sorry to curse.
These kids don't play on Sunday, fam. These kids don't play on Sunday.
Any given Saturday.
That's gonna conclude our college football. Cam, I want to applaud you a little bit. You did an okay job. Okay. I was expecting a lot more. We'll get it next time. I promise.
I'm gonna swing you. You're gonna be wearing black and gold by the end of the year.
Hey, I'll wear it. I don't have no problem with it. I'll wear it.
As long as it's black, right?
The next EAC headline is going to be NBA basketball. And the two subjects that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Doc Rivers saying that he's confident Kawhi Leonard would be in top shape with all of this layoff when the NBA season starts to get back. I think if anybody benefited off of this, somebody like Kawhi and somebody like LeBron James benefited off this little break that they're having because of the COVID-19. What do you think about that, Kev?
Yeah, I mean, listen, everyone's getting healthier. Everyone's getting their rest during this downtime, during the quarantine of COVID-19. So it's understandable why Coach would think that this would be great for his players. I was done watching LeBron rest. Last year was his first time not being in the postseason in his career, it felt like. So I was ready to see a fresh LeBron going into this postseason. So it's upsetting that we're going to miss this postseason here. But obviously, a guy like Kawhi Leonard is going to benefit from this. And how about, we mentioned this before a couple of weeks ago, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, them pretty much throwing out their first season, calling it a wash, and then the NBA wrapping the whole thing up. So
it's definitely going to benefit players that play like the one-star players that are like really good in their team and, stuff like that. But for teams like Milwaukee, teams like Toronto, you didn't want this break because you were playing really, really good basketball, and this could literally interrupt that break for you and how your team chemistry was rolling.
That's why I was going to chime in and say the break is a good thing and a bad thing for teams like that who was playing very well. The ones who are playing exceptional, they want to continue to play to keep the momentum.
Right. It's good for the haves and bad for the have-nots. It's good for the haves like the Celtics and the Lakers and all these teams who have been there before and have had ample opportunity. And it's bad for the teams like Toronto and Milwaukee who are there right now and they just get shut down for the year. So it sucks. But, that's what we're dealing with right now as a whole world, not just the NBA.
Absolutely. The next subject we're going to get into is we're going to get into KG, the OG Kevin Garnett. I love KG, always have, always will. Kevin Garnett is not interested in the Timberwolves retiring his jersey because he doesn't want to do business with snakes. He has a big rift with the ownership group, Glen Taylor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. For you guys that don't know, that are listening or watching on YouTube, Kevin Garnett was supposed to be part of a investment group with the late great Flip Saunders, who was his coach, who originally drafted him out in Minnesota with the ownership group. They were going to buy the Minnesota Timberwolves from the previous ownership, and Garnett was supposed to be part of that deal. When Flip Saunders passed away, they literally just said exit, and this is not going to be happening anymore. We're not going to sell the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Garnett was just like forgotten about when it came to that, and there was no talking about it, no nothing. So there's bad blood because while this group is the group that brought him in, this group is also the group that is shutting him out because his former coach is not there no more.
So what they're pretty much saying is the Glen Taylor group. What they're pretty much saying is now that Flip Saunders has died, KG is invaluable. He pretty much, they're a battery pack. If it doesn't, we don't have any loyalty ties to a Kevin Garnett. That's pretty much what they're saying because his coach died.
I don't think they're saying that. I think that maybe Glen Taylor wanted to sell the team to Flip, and Flip wanted Kevin to be part of that, and maybe Glen Taylor didn't have a problem with that. But now that Flip isn't there, maybe Glen Taylor's sitting there saying, I don't want to sell the team to KG. If you look it up, you guys can look it up when you get a chance. KG has ran into some type of financial issues before with the
club.
He's ran into some financial issues before with his money. So I don't know necessarily if he wants to leave the Timberwolves in Kevin Garnett's hands. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. But I think he'd rather just sell the team to Flip Saunders and not sell the team to Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's upsetting to hear, though. You would like to see KG get involved. At least is he the Big Show? Is that his nickname?
Big Ticket. This is all coming out, by the way, because these guys were all just, into the Hall of Fame. Shout out to him, Tim Duncan, and the late, great Kobe Bryant. We forgot to shoot out Kobe Bryant on episode 24.
That's right.
Kobe Bryant was inducted, or was going to be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. And beautiful, I almost cried when I saw it. Shout out to his wife, Vanessa, and his daughter, Natalia, that came on ESPN, and they just basically were thankful that Kobe got accepted into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and with such great company, too, Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan. That'll be a great ceremony. Sad, but it'll be, a good time for basketball to heal and the rightful place of Kobe's resting place, which is the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And we're going to get into this. The last thing we're going to talk about, and the last thing we're going to talk about, Marcus Mack, you can add on to it, is that it's in the realm of basketball, and it's basically talking about how only 9 players, if the NBA was to be canceled today, 9 players will get 90% of their salaries if the NBA season was canceled today. All of those 9 players are represented by
Rich Paul,
LeBron's agent, Rich Paul. Rich Paul represents the 9 players that are going to get paid. Marcus Mack, you go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So with the 9 players, which are I'll name down the 9 of them, is John Wall, Kentavious Pope, Jonte Murray, Miles Bridges, Darius Baisley, Darius Garland, Terrence Ferguson, Trey Lyles, and LeBron James, of course. So what's going on is the NBA is very determined to finish out this year and go into the playoffs, which I don't agree with at all, which we touched on that already. It was like, it's a good thing and a bad thing with them closing out the year, and then they still want to do something where they try to negotiate something with Las Vegas to still have the playoffs, which I don't agree with at all. I think you need to just go into the following season, the next season, the 2021 season, and just close out the season completely. Business-wise.
It's nice that some people are still getting their bread, though.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I mean, they got their paychecks. They got their paychecks on Wednesday, which is the day they were supposed to get paid. But they're not 100% sure if they're going to get their further paychecks.
Some people got their paychecks. There's still people that's waiting to get their paychecks because everything is in negotiation right now. Because of things like, people like Rich Paul that's fighting to get his clients the amount that's due. So They're estimated to lose approximately $1.2 billion if they end the season right now. Right?
Yeah, they've already lost $400 million because of the stuff they did in the beginning of the year with China.
Yeah. So what's gonna happen is the team owners and the NBA are the ones who are gonna split the loss. So right now they're trying to figure out a way how they can recoup the losses, which we all know that's not gonna happen until next year. So because of the clause that they're going to try to enforce right now, that's specifically designed for times like this with this COVID-19 and them canceling games, because of that and them losing $1.2 billion, then that can cause for them to reopen the CBA negotiation, the CBA agreement, and then that could cause for next year to have a whole new negotiation just in case these players get a little bit more this time around. They'll take less for the following year, which the last CBA agreement was 2017, and it expires the season of 2023-2024.
Yeah,
so
totally
if they open it and renegotiate, then there's some people that's going to get a little bit less, but people like Rich Paul and Mark Tamini, they're trying to make sure that their clients get top dollar.
Yeah, absolutely. That's their job. They're supposed to do that. Now, Cam, I know that you remember this. It was Rick Morey of the GM of the Houston Rockets in the beginning of the year said some freedom of speech things about the situation between Taiwan and China and their freedom of rights and all that type of stuff, which ended up costing the NBA between $300 and $400 million. In my opinion, I think if that doesn't happen, we're not having this discussion right now. Because if the NBA had an additional $300, $400 million in revenue coming in from China, they wouldn't be talking about what they're talking about right now, in my opinion.
Good point. That's a good point. I'm not sure a lot of people are on that point. That's pretty good to think about. Pretty much anything helps, and that was a disaster when it happened early on in the season. So, I mean, you got to, at this point, you have to, two things I just took away from what you were saying is one, find you an agent like Rich Paul, because you got to imagine that if I'm an NBA player and I'm looking at my agent like, all right, like what can you be doing better? Why are these guys getting paid and I'm not? And two is you mentioned that the NBA and the owners are going to split the costs. Can you imagine the NFL doing this? They won't budge on their 48.5% that they're trying to give players. Can you imagine them covering the losses that the organization accrues like the NBA does?
Well, in my opinion, it'll be easier for the NFL because the NFL has a lot more bottom feeders than the NBA does. So I don't think it would be that necessarily that hard. I think the NBA, in my opinion, has done a great job right now. I think the MLB has did the best job of making sure that players and staff and whatever it may be, you don't hear this out of the MLB. You don't hear not one thing. And I understand that the season hasn't started, but you don't hear none of that. The MLB, they came up with a fund. They came up with $30 million to cover all of the cost of all of the staff and the workers. You don't got to worry about nothing. That money's there. You're hearing all these money problems with who? The NBA. Why? Because they already lost $300, $400 million before the season even started. That's why.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's zero margin for error right now.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. And then when you got teams like Utah or Milwaukee or places like that, that's
small markets.
That's not going to generate the revenue because of these empty seats. You know what I'm saying? You got places like LA, Lakers, Clippers, Houston, even sad to say New York, but they'll still make money. You know what I'm saying? They'll still make money without.
In my opinion, fellas, I think that all of these leagues should have just followed what the MLB did and literally just put it on each team to take care of the staff. So literally just bundle all your money up, use this big fund, and pay everybody that you have to pay. That money's not going to run out.
I agree with that. But isn't there a huge gap in revenue in comparison to the MLB? Doesn't the MLB make?
Yes, of course. But there's not much of the season. There's not much of the season left for the NBA.
Yeah.
So it would be a lot less to cover the staff and the workers and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Let's not get it twisted. The rich is rich. They have money. The wealthy is wealthy. They have money. You know, the amount of losses that they're getting, they'll bounce back. They'll be able to recoup. We're talking about the ones that can't.
Right.
Yeah, the people working for the stadiums and working for,
or even the lower level salary players, they can't recoup. Like if a guy who's on a 1-year contract with the NBA team, he's done. Like, he's finished.
Right. Or the videotape guy, you know, the lowest rung on the staff for the coaching staff, you know.
So you mean to tell me, Cam, that we have an opportunity that if we don't pay this kid right now, that the next Eric Spoelstra might not become a head coach in the NBA?
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Eric Spoelstra started out as a guy that broke down film for the coaching staff to break down to his players. And look where he's at now. So, I mean, a healthy NBA breeds opportunity. So hopefully things can change and people can get their money at some point, keep their jobs.
This is exactly why you have to take care of those people. This is exactly why you have to make sure that those staff, those people underneath, get taken care of, because you never know who can become the next Eric Spoelstra.
Absolutely. Keep everybody happy.
Well, guys,
this is not exactly that easy, keeping everybody happy. It's not easy, but I think there's definitely enough money to go around.
You tell me what comes easy. What is really worth something that comes easy? Nothing.
Nothing in business.
Nothing in life.
Right.
Nothing in life. I told the nation today, the small details is what separates the good from the great. It's the work ethic that you put in on those small details. That's it.
Right. Absolutely.
That's it. That's the same advice that you can take to life. You take that to life, you'll be straight. So, guys, this is going to conclude episode, what is this, 24, right? Or we're on 25? 25. Damn, I be forgetting, honestly. I'm just so glad that we're keeping it moving and we're getting it going, providing content for people to be able to watch.
Back to the work ethic. We record a lot. We try to keep the viewers in tune, letting them know that we definitely here for you guys in this downtime. You know, check out the Instagram page, the EAC Show Instagram page. We'll definitely keep you guys engaged.
Well, guys, I appreciate you, Marcus Mack. I appreciate you, Kim. I appreciate you. This is going to end episode 25. Make sure you check us out, episode 26. Click, like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification button on YouTube and all podcast platforms so you can stay up to date with all of the shows. And we'll check you out, episode 26. Appreciate you guys.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.